In this video, we're going to look at using the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic equation. But first, before we get to that, I want to talk just briefly about one little thing here. It's a syntax. This funny looking symbol in the middle, I wanted to talk about briefly. What that means is this is a shorthand or an abbreviated way of writing two expressions. So one of the expressions would be 4 plus 3 using just the top sign, and the other one would be 4 minus 3 using the bottom sign. So again, this is just an abbreviated way of writing two expressions that have the same numbers, but just one has a plus add and the other is minus for subtract. We'll use this in a little bit. All right, let's move on. So this is the equation that we want to solve. So here I put a 1 in front of the x squared. We don't usually write a 1, right, when it's at the beginning like that, but just for illustration purposes, I got it here. So 1x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. I'm trying to solve this for x. Now we could factor this, but again, I just want to use this straightforward one as a illustration. So what we'll do is, here's the general form of this equation, where it's ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a is whatever the coefficient of the x squared term is, b is the coefficient of the x term, in this case the 5, and c is a constant, right? It's a number that's always fixed. All right, so here's the beast. This is the quadratic formula: negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Yikes. It sounds big, but it's not so bad. So I use color coding here so you can see where the numbers come from. So starting off the negative b, what I did was you substitute the b value from the equation, in this case the 5. I substitute that for b, so it starts with negative 5. Then inside the square root sign, there's another b, so that's going to be another 5, so I replace the b with 5 there. And the 4, that's a constant. That's in every quadratic formula, so we'll leave that alone. The a gets substituted with the 1, and the c in the formula gets substituted with 6. And then the denominator is 2 times the coefficient of x squared, the a, and I replace that with 1. So it looks bad, but it's really not too bad. Let's try to step through it. So the negative 5, that's going to remain, right? And then there's that plus or minus we just talked about, and a big long square root symbol. Well, the 5 squared is 25, minus 4 times 1 is 4 times 6. What's that about? 24. And then the denominator is 2 times 1, or 2. So we could simplify this now. The negative 5, we'll leave that out there for now. And then 25 minus 24, that's the square root of 1, and it's all over 2. So the good news here is we're getting down, it's getting shorter. One last one, the square root of 1 is what? That's 1, right? So we could write this as negative 5 plus or minus, again, the square root of 1 is 1, divided by 2. And now we'll make use of that plus or minus sign that we looked at just a minute ago. So I'll be able to turn this into two expressions. So I'll use the plus sign first, and I'll simplify this, and then I'll also use once with the minus sign. Yeah? All right, and these should give us our two solutions to this equation. So if we combine terms here, negative 5 and positive 1, that's negative 4, right, over 2, and we could simplify this to negative 2. And the other expression, negative 5 minus 1, that's right, negative 6 divided by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So there are two solutions to this, and we usually write the solutions in brackets like this. So that negative 2 will make this equation true, as will negative 3. That's our answer. Done. All right, let's try one more. This will be it's very similar to the one we just did. So this will be 1x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Again, we want to find values of x, and there's probably 2 of them, that will make this statement true. So here's the quadratic formula again, and we'll do the same step we did before, where we'll replace all the letters or variables in the formula with the numbers from the equation. All right, so we start with negative b. Now, these have negative signs, so we really have to pay attention here. Right? So negative b is a negative, and b is negative 2, right? Because the sign in front of the 2. So this is going to be a minus 2. And again, inside the square root, b squared, that b is negative, right? If you look in the equation up here, the sign goes with the 2, so b is negative 2. Negative 2 squared. 4 times a is 1, and c is also negative, right? So I replace that with the negative 8. All right, now we just do the arithmetic or the algebra to finish this up. So minus 2, that's a positive 2, right? Here's our plus and minus again. Square root. So negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2, which is a positive 4. And here we have a negative 4 times a positive 1, which is negative 4. And negative 4 times negative 8 is positive 32, right? So that's positive 32 all over 2 times 1 again, or 2. And now we'll simplify this. So the 2 on the outside, we'll leave him for the time being. 4 plus 32, that's about 36, yeah. And then the 2 times 1 is 2 on the bottom. 36, that's a perfect square, right? That's 6 times 6, so we could get rid of the square root. Plus or minus 6 over 2. And again, now we can use that plus or minus sign to generate 2 expressions. We'll use the plus sign first. 2 plus 6 all over 2, and then we'll use the 2 minus 6 over 2. Again, all I did was split that plus or minus sign into separate plus and minus. So the 2 and 6, that's what, 8 over 2, which is 4. And 2 minus 6, is that about negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. So again, there are 2 solutions to this. A positive 4 and a negative 2. Done.